How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams from the Hard Gainer Academy. Over here, we make gains in fitness and choose stocks to get your portfolio in shape. I also got to throw out the disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor, and this isn't financial advice. So when you do invest, just know you're doing it at your own risk. So today we're going to be talking about Churchill Capital. In other words, CCIV, that's supposed to be merging, getting into a deal with Lucid Motors. This SPAC is actually ran by Michael Klein. The one thing that really stands out about this is that his connection with the Saudi Arabian investment fund. And ironically, of course, and what's very interesting, they are also the same fund that has a huge stake in Lucid Motors. So now, some news came out yesterday from the Wall Street Journal that really shook out some weak hands out of CCIV. So as far as the price and what happened yesterday, it was literally at the price of $34 and came crashing down to $27 range. It's been making some recovery since then, but again, that's a big drop considering that this stock was at an all-time high of $35. Let me just put that up on the screen so you guys can see this. Yeah, so it had an all-time high of $35. They had the high of the morning at $34 and then came crashing down to $27.58. But of course bounced back and recovered over that reaction. But it hasn't fully recovered as of yet. So I'm going to be reading the piece that came out from the Wall Street Journal that literally had an effect and why we saw the action that we saw yesterday. All right. So the electric car buzz pushes up shares in a company with nothing but cash. Churchill Capital IV stock has more than tripled on report in its talk with Lucid Motors. When news emerged in December that Churchill Capital Corp, a blank check company with no assets beyond its $2 billion in cash, had made an offer to acquire DirecTV, the stock barely moved. So this is where I'm talking about speculation. And also we got to look at the fact that usually with most SPACs, well, what tends to be the case for the most part, they start out around like $10, right? So when they were in talks with DirecTV, there wasn't really much effect on the stock price at all. But when their talks came in, well, you know what? There's going to be a potential deal with Lucid Motors. It was exciting because a lot of people kind of placed Tesla at the top, of course, and Lucid at a close second. So what Lucid is an electric vehicle company that just focuses on the luxury segment. So it's an electrical EV company. So a lot of people are saying, you know what, that's going to be the closest competitor to Tesla. And that's part of the reasons why, hey, we had the price of this particular stock, CCIV to be exact, run up so fast. It just ran up at a tremendous, like when I was looking at it when the news first came out, it was actually pretty insane. I'm going to continue reading on, but like just to kind of give you an idea as far as how big of an impact the deal with Lucid Motors can have with CCIV. After a report in January that Churchill was in talks to merge with the buzzy electric vehicle startup Lucid Motors, it was a different story. Speculation about the possible combination spread on Reddit and other social media platforms fueled by Tesla Inc.'s surge and a bet on a post-gasoline future. Traders sought additional information online and pointed to mirrored bits of information to infer a deal was imminent. One online discussion prompted a trader to drive to an airport to photograph a jet that other traders conjectured was connected to the deal. The stock surged more than 220% since the report last month. So let's just put that in perspective here. It's a SPAC, CCIV. We already know the baseline price is around $10. It ran up in this period of time 220%. Of course, that number, and we take into the fact that it hit an all-time high of $35. So let's just think about this here. Let's just say potentially this deal does not go through. We're literally looking at a stock that can possibly go back to $10. Let's continue reading, all right? So the stock has surged more than 220% since the report last month, the biggest ever stock increase of a special purpose acquisition company, which is a SPAC, before announcing a merger, according to SPACinsider.com. Talks between the two companies are continuing. Though a deal isn't imminent, according to people familiar with the matter. So I could definitely see how weak hands and people who don't believe in the company or people who haven't been doing their due diligence to say, you know what, I'm out of this. Because at the end of the day, if this stock does not have the KLTs like we talk about on this channel, so what are the KLTs for anyone who might be new here? You got to know the company, you got to like the company, and you got to trust the company. There have been numerous indicators which really increase the likelihood of success of this deal actually going through. But what this piece is, it kind of makes things interesting. And I'm going to bring up a quote so you can have a better understanding of it. So Warren Buffett says, "Be greedy when others are fearful, and be fearful when others are greedy." So let's talk about the stock price. So it literally ran up to $34, right? So a lot of people bought at the top. So when it went down, that's when they just started selling. They're like, hey, I bought the stock at this price. Why is it going down so much? Hey, I don't want to lose any more money. If you really knew about what was going on, like you knew, okay, well, you knew the connections that Michael Klein has in Saudi Arabia. If you knew that, you know what, there's been certain clues and certain things that have been coming out and so forth, you already see where the potential of this stock can be. Like, let's say, for example, this merger goes through. It's confirmed. We're looking at a stock that can literally easily get to $50. That is, and it, you know what, it can even go even further than that. Like I said, this stock is being compared to Tesla, right? What we need to actually look at is, before you make any investment decision, make sure those KLTs are checked off. Unless you have short-term interest, then I would highly suggest, you know what, it is probably not the best of ideas to be selling at a loss right away, unless it's money that is not discretionary income and you really need it. And in that case, you shouldn't have been investing with that money in the first place. But of course, I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice, but it's just something that you want to keep in mind. Another thing is, how am I going to be playing this? It's very interesting. So I don't know if you guys know the company Canute. I have a hard time pronouncing it. So there were warrants that I used to sell and profit from when it was HCAC at the time. I think they were merging with Hennessy Capital or something like that. So I used to sell the warrants on fluctuations. Anytime there was some sort of news, and let's say, for example, the stock price went down, then you know what? I'd buy up a couple warrants because the warrants are normally cheaper. Let me just pull it up very quickly so you guys can kind of see what it looks like. So for the warrant for CCIV, it got to a low of $10.21 when it hit that low yesterday, right? So you think about $10.21. If you look at the screen on my phone right now, the value is now at $13.35. When it was at the high, when it was at 34, it was $15. So just imagine if you would have bought in on that low, then you know, okay, well, you know what? I literally could have made some good profit. So here's how I'm actually going to be looking at CCIV today. There is a potential chance, today being Thursday, because this video is going to be going up early, in the early mornings, I'm looking for it to go down a little bit more. So like if it can go down to the 25 range, the 26 range, things can get very, very interesting. And the price of the warrant, as you can see on the screenshot, it's like $13.35, like I said before. So if the price of the stock continues to go down, it can get even lower. So for me, I'm looking at this as an opportunity, because at the end of the day, we also got to look at the fact that I actually believe in this company, right? I believe in Michael Klein. I believe in this SPAC. And I can believe that he can get a deal done, especially with the connections that he has. If he doesn't get a deal done, I understand that. Because one of the reasons why it makes me feel more confident, I didn't get in when it was in the $30 range. And if you did get in at the $30 range and you really do believe in the company and you trust, like, you know what, he is going to get a deal done, then there's two things you could do. You could average down, right? So bringing down your costs lower. Or secondly, just sit and wait. Hold out, right? Because like I said, if this deal gets confirmed and it goes through, I guarantee you're going to be up. Even if you got in at 34, you're going to end up being up because this is really big news. And a lot of times when things like this come out, especially in the media and so forth, we really got to pay attention what starts happening. There's a reason why there was still a lot of buying going on, even though there was a lot of selling at that point when it dropped. There was still a lot more buying. And there were a lot of big buys. And when we see big buys, these are hedge funds, these are institutions taking sizable positions. So I always, like, some people may call it a conspiracy here, but a lot of times when this type of news comes out, they do it to drive the price down. You hear this all the time. Anytime there's a short seller report on the stock, brings the price down. Anytime one of these investment firms or these banks say, well, you know what, this is what the actual price target could be. This stock is overvalued. The price comes down. So in the same instance of this situation with CCIV and Lucid Motors, I'm being very bullish here. I'm being confident that, you know what, Michael Klein, he is going to get a deal done. And if he doesn't, I am aware that there's a possibility that CCIV can go back down to $10. If you can't acknowledge that and can't accept that, then there's no then that's the reason why your emotions are starting to settle in and you have the possibility of making the wrong decision. So just to kind of give you guys a recap, I'm going to be playing the warrants and I'm going to see, hey, where the stock price actually goes. If it goes to 25, 24, I might add a little bit. I'm not going to add too much at all. Like I said, like the best time I feel like to add was in the beginning. But hey, if you can get it at 25, 22 and you understand the downside risk and you can accept that, then hey, by all means, you could do that. But like I say, I'm not a financial advisor and it's not financial advice. But if you believe in the company and you feel like, you know what, Michael Klein can get a deal done, he has connections, you're feeling very positive about it, then by all means, hey, this can definitely pay off in the short term and in the long run. Lucid Motors is a great company. They have a lot of things going for them. They have a plant that they have in Arizona, and there have been talks about opening also a plant in Saudi Arabia as well. And they have money. They're being backed big time. So as far as the potential of Lucid Motors, I can see a lot of things happening. I can see them bringing in some serious competition to the other EVs in the market as well. So I'm definitely interested. I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye on it. I'm very, very positive. I'm still bullish, like I said before, on this merger happening. And when it does, trust me, Lucid is going to change the game. So I'm going to make sure that I build up my position. But again, I am not going to build up my position at a price that I feel is not the right price for me. All right? So do your due diligence. Be aware. Keep an eye on things. And hey, I wish you all the success. I'll be talking to you guys later today because there'll be another video coming out. And of course, it's going to have the joke of the day in there as well. All right? I'll be talking to you guys soon. Peace out.